Okay, so for me personally, I kind of love the Absolute universe, and I really do love Absolute Flash. For right now, everything can change very easily when it comes to a comic book series. But for Jeff Lemire, so far for me personally, I kind of like what he is doing here. Now, for Jeff Lemire, like most writers, when it comes to a brand new series, they only give you small pieces of information of what's to come down the road later on in the series, but also kind of giving you small pieces of information about different characters you may wonder about when it comes to a brand new reality. And you see what I mean as we go through the next 2 chapters of this brand new series. Now, this video is going to pick up where our last video had left off at, where technically we had learned that Wally had somehow gained his ability, but when he did, it killed off Barry Allen. Now, for Wally West, he's technically on the run, and really, he's being chased down by the rogues of this reality. Now, early on, we kind of get the idea the rogues are currently working for Fort Fox. Now, remember, Fort Fox is a military base that Wally was staying at. And the reason why, because his father is the colonel for that military base. They were working on a special type of project that Barry Allen was actually part of. But either way, though, because Wally West had ran away from that military base, it's right on the fort saying, hey, go out there and bring Wally back to us, because with him now having powers, we need to study him. And so right now, it's the rogues just trying their best to capture Wally West. But here's the thing, because for Wally, he's still trying his best to understand what's going on with him, what kind of powers he has at the moment. And so unfortunately for him, he does lose control of his powers once again, which does kind of give him a breathing moment when it comes to fighting against the rogues. But this kind of leads us into a flashback. And really, with this flashback, it does really kind of pick up where the first issue dropped off at, because we pick up with Wally West walking into Barry's lab. And that was kind of like the starting point of Wally West gaining his abilities. And so we kind of pick back up in that moment where it's Wally West somehow being affected by the experiment that Barry had done in the lab. Now, for a brief moment, Wally does disappear, and you do have Wally's father walk into the room and kind of realize that something happened to his son thanks to Barry Allen. And so you have Wally's father getting very upset with Barry, continuing to be down on Barry over and over again until you have Wally reappear. Now, it does look like that Wally is just pure energy, and that's really it. But you didn't have Barry tell Wally, look at me. Focus on me. Stay here. Stay with us. Now for Wally, once again, he begins to lose control of his ability. But it does seem like he was able to come back into this reality. And so it's kind of cool, because as we jump back over to the present day and pick back up with Wally West still with the rogues, it's the rogues believing they have Wally West. They have captured Wally, and now they can go ahead and bring him back over to the military base. But for Wally, he is somebody who's not going to give up that easily. And so you have Wally just start running again. And this kind of shows the rogues they have somebody they can't just stop that easily. They have an actual challenge in front of them, and they need to think of a new game plan on how they're going to try their best to stop Wally and to at least capture him. And this kind of leads into a cool moment, because it's Wally West telling us, the readers, that he feels connected to the past, the present, but also the future as well, because we do see him basically showing us a small glimpse of his past with him, his mom, his father, when they were a happy family. But then after that is him telling us he still feels connected to the present day. But then he looks into the future. But here's the thing, because with him looking into the future, there are 2 different possibilities of what's to come down the road, or possibly 2 different worlds, where in one world, he's somebody that everyone loves, a great hero. Everybody wants to be him. But in a different world, it's the complete opposite. It looks like he went down a dark path. Now, the close on the second chapter is really more of us just seeing the rogues kind of realize, enough is enough. They're not really able to stop Wally West. So why not go ahead and use their secret weapon? And so we kind of find out their secret weapon is Grodd. We're getting our first look at Grodd in this reality. But here's the thing, because Grodd looks like one of the monkeys that was in the lab, Barry Allen's, in the first chapter. And so now we get the idea the military had basically created Grodd, but now I'm going to use him as a way to hopefully capture Wally. Now, as we dive into the third issue, it's really more Jeff Lemire trying to point something out here by basically saying like, okay, we come to Wally West, we learn that he feels like he's connected to the past, the present, and the future, but also he is connected to special moments in his life. The first one for him right now is Barry Allen. The whole idea was Barry who gave him his abilities. Now, we go back in time to that moment where you have Wally West just start running away right after he was able to pull himself together and come back into this reality. But once he did that and started running across the entire military base, he had no idea that technically he was dragging Barry Allen with him. And so when he turned around, all he saw was Barry Allen just being skin and bones. Like literally, Wally West ran this man to death. Now, as we transition back over to the present day, is Wally West arriving at this farm. Now, for me personally, I thought Wally would meet somebody special here besides Grodd. Like, I thought the farm belonged to a different character who might become very important for Wally West. But either way, you have Wally go in the barn to try to get some rest. Now, as we all know, the Rogues are currently working for Fort Fox. And right now, for Wally's father, his main goal is to use the Rogues, but also Grodd as a way to bring Wally back home. And so you have Grodd being able to locate Wally very easily. Now, here's the thing, because this is not the first time these two characters met. Wally West met Grodd in the first issue when it came to Barry Allen showing off all the different experiments that he was working on in his lab in that first issue. And so for Wally, once he does see Grodd, he's kind of like, hey, I know you. And for Grodd, he definitely knows Wally West. Now, once you do have the two characters being able to touch one another with their fingers, you didn't have Grodd being able to connect his mind to Wally West's mind, because remember, Grodd is a psychic basically. But this kind of leads into two more moments of connections for Wally. The second one would be Grodd, and the third one would be his mom. But while you do have the two characters' minds connected to one another, they're being able to kind of look into each other's minds and kind of realize they both lost someone they love. They both lost their mother. But for Grodd, of course, as we all know, he was taken away from his mother to be used as an experiment. But either way, they both had experienced loss. And so with them both kind of realizing that, they're kind of like, oh my God, Wally, Grodd, we are the same. Now you have the two characters being able to talk to one another through their minds. Now, for the Rogues, they do reappear because they have been following Grodd. And with them following Grodd, well, of course, they were able to find Wally. But for Grodd, he kind of realized, or knew already technically, that he was on the wrong side, that he wants to be with Wally. And really, for Grodd, he is able to calm down Wally. And that's really important because in the first issue, it was Wally West telling us that his mom was always there for him. His mom always had to kind of keep him calm, but she died. And so for Grodd, he's kind of replacing Wally's mom, being there in Wally's corner to help him relax. And with him doing that, you have Wally being able to take down the Rogues to allow the two characters to finally be able to escape. They're going to stick together now. But for Wally West, it's him kind of realizing that his life as he knew it is gone. That now he really can't afford to go back. This is his life right now. And unfortunately, he cannot outrun it at all. He just has to go on and keep pushing forward. And so we see Wally go back to the cave where he left the dead body of Barry Allen. And he takes off the outfit that Barry was wearing. And of course, he puts it on. And so we're kind of left to believe that now officially we have the Flash in the absolute universe, a brand new hero out there to hopefully change the world. But this is where we're going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.